Today's video is about something that a lot of people have had from time to time and not really known what it was, which is Hi, I'm Elemi from Yeyeo Botanica, your spiritual home. And if this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Our channel is about spiritual lifestyle, everyday rituals, ancestors, and African spirituality. If you're interested in any of these topics, stick around. But today's video is about something that a lot of people have had from time to time and not really known what it was, which is spiritual sickness. If you're interested in this subject, or you think you may know someone with a spiritual illness, well, stick around because we're going to talk about it. And I've got a really great story to share with you. So let's get started. But first, I want to shout out all my people from Panama City, Panama. Woohoo! Welcome. Today we're going to talk about spiritual sickness and how to heal it. I'm going to give you a couple pointers on how to heal it, but I first want to say that we have a more in-depth video on remedies. Today's video is really going to be about what are signs of spiritual sickness? How does it affect people? And what does it look like? And I want to share with you a story about someone's experience that it was after a while I realized, wait a minute, there's something going on here. This person has a form of spiritual sickness. And so spiritual sickness, first of all, I want to say that it affects people emotionally, mentally, and physically. And I too have had this. So this is why I really know that spiritual sickness is real. I can identify it. I can see it in people. And so some time ago, I was dealing with someone who I noticed that they would go through these spells of not recognizing where they were, what life was all about, and just really just being off. So this is a story about someone who I know, a client of mine, and if they see this video, know that I love you a lot, and this is why I'm sharing your story. So it was always something is wrong. Something is wrong, something is wrong. It doesn't matter how much spiritual work was done, how many rituals, how much prayer, how many cleanses, how many ceremonies. Things were never enough. And so there's a difference between, I want to kind of pause here for a second. There's a difference between things never being enough and a person not being satisfied, right? I think those are kind of a little bit different. They're similar, but they're different. So I would get these comments of, oh, you know, I'm not feeling well today, I'm in bed, or I had this thing happen to me, and it was always that there was a conflict, always that there was a problem. One day everything would be fine, the next day the person was having all kinds of issues that just would come out of nowhere. It would either be people issues, it would be these conversations of negative witchcraft. And for those of you who wanted to see that video on different types of witchcraft, I got you. And if you're enjoying this video or getting anything out of it, definitely give me a thumbs up, because this is how YouTube knows that you find value in my videos. So also, I noticed that the person was difficult to talk to when it came to these particular issues that they would they were having. I say, well, I don't understand. Everything was fine the other day, and you seem so happy and you seem so vibrant. And now today is the total opposite. It seems like the world is ending and everything bad is happening. I said, I don't think that all of this is totally spiritual. And so some of that can be in the person's mind that they're pulling to them, because remember, our mind is such a powerful tool that it can make us happy or it can make us sad. It can make us rich, it can make us poor. It can make us sexy, it can make us not. Whatever it is, it can help us with the opposite or not. And so one day I remember that person had like these plans. We went through this whole coaching thing around having plans around what are you going to do next? What's on your plan for the next 6 months? What's on your plan for the next year? And it was like rah, rah, rah. And then boom, all of a sudden it was talk about, which is the first symptom that I want to bring up. So I'm giving you this person's situation, but also now you're going to think about the story. And so the first one was about, oh, I don't really know where I'm going in life. I don't know where my direction is. I feel very confused. I don't really know what my options are. All of these different things the person was talking about. So the first one is emptiness. The second one is lack of direction. Right? So those are two symptoms very specifically that fall into this. So I'm giving you a scenario about how people may communicate or how they may reflect themselves and what are some of the symptoms that go with that. Another symptom is sign is being very depressed, a little bit fatalistic. Oh, what is there to live for? Again, that taps into the lack of direction and lack of focus, in addition to these feelings of emptiness. The next one was lack of passion, right? I used to say, well, what is it that you want to do? And there was no answer. Or they would say, oh, I really want to do this thing. And they were hot on the trail for this thing. And then after that, it was like, no, I don't know what I want to do. I have no feelings. The person kept saying, I don't have any feelings of vibrancy in any way. Lastly, the other one that I want to share is this not being able to sleep well. I want to say that sleep, and if you haven't seen the video that I did about getting up at these bewitching hours between 2 and 5, definitely watch that video, because it really talks about, some of it is spiritually motivated, your guides and ancestors kind of waking you up, but others can be problems, right? Whether problems going on with the person. In the case of spiritual sickness, sleep is definitely disturbed. And the last one, which is a sweet, 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 sweet thing, is the person doing spiritual work for themselves, and it doesn't seem like it's doing any good. It doesn't seem like it's working at all. So I just want to pause here, because some of you who are regular viewers of the channel, thank you. You may say, well, Elemi, that could be witchcraft. It could be something negative. Well, people are doing witchcraft to themselves every day, right? And that's a form of it. But these are symptoms or signs that can say that the person's spiritually sick. So what do you do about that? How do you break through that? And so the first one is that I would say is the person needs to find a really good spiritual person that can give them spiritual advice and coaching. That's the first one, because they need to help them figure out where is this problem coming from, or how it's affecting them, to help to give them some good remedies. The other one that I think is really, really good to do is to get out in nature. And I want to say that one very specifically, because I have another sweet one. A sweet one I didn't say earlier, which is when someone is spiritually sick, they're oftentimes disconnected. So they're disconnected from people. They're disconnected from their relationship with God. They're disconnected from their passion. They're just Right? So being out in nature is a fantastic way to really reconnect yourself, reestablish that connection with the divine, really focusing on the bigger picture and not these small granular things that can keep the person depressed or in a really negative state of mind. Because spiritual sickness is something that if it's not addressed in a really timely way, can turn into other things, can turn into phobias and fears, and also attract low vibrational spirits. So spiritual sickness is something to really be mindful of and make sure that it's not just a psychological issue, but it's really spiritual, like spiritually kind of poking at the person, so to speak. And a lot of times also, I just want to say, this is a big sweet thing. It's a big, big sweet thing. People who experiment a lot with spirituality in terms of on the dark side, this can make over time a buildup of energy where the person can also become spiritually sick. And the last one, how to break and how to heal some of this spiritual sickness, is to do gratitude work. What are the things that you're happy about? We're still here. We're still doing it. Still have a roof over your head. Still have food. Still can walk on your own 2 feet. Whatever that may be for you. Those are 3 that I gave you. But to see more, we have another video for that. So I hope you enjoy this video. Definitely give me a thumbs up. I want to share a couple of items with you today. Breaksol is one of the items that you can use when dealing with any kind of spiritual sickness, because especially this one is gray, and this Lucky Breaksol is really, really good to move energy, right? It says on it for cleansing, breakthrough, and renewal, right? I'm going to just show that one more time. Breakthrough, renewal, and cleansing. And there's also a Breaksol soap. But the one that I actually think is really, really good to try, especially when a person feels that they're spiritually sick or they feel crossed in some way or things are just not moving, is the uncrossing. Very, very effective. Very effective. And one of the reasons why I like the uncrossing, you know, it says spell breaking, cleansing, and purification, is because a lot of times people don't really know how they're crossed. And it's just a wonderful candle. And lastly, which we've gone through quite a few times, are different waters. And in the video where I really talk about remedies to clear spiritual stagnation, to clear spiritual sickness, river water is one of the items that is used that I talk about. So definitely think about that, check it out. If it's not for you, definitely share it with someone and hit that bell to stay in the know, because we've got lots of great videos, great information, and events coming up. And see you next time. Ashe, ashe, ashe.